Hello, welcome to Chess Tech, and today we're going to be analysing a rapid game I had recently against a 2150 rated plus player, and I was just a mere like 1900 something player, and it's a game which to me exemplifies why I play the Scandinavian, and I think about binning it off, but this sort of victory to me gives me hope in this opening that it's going to be taken more seriously. I mean, the fact that Magnus plays it and dabbles with it on Blitz, and uses it, I think there's more to the opening than's been given credit for, actually. And it's not an opening where you're going to get huge tactical struggles and aim for, quick wins, in the first 3 or 4 moves. It's not happening with this. This is an opening where you try to, you're just going for equality. You don't want to get smashed out of the park, and you just want a game of chess against somebody, and this is what I got. So let's get on with it. So we started obviously with e4, d5. In this analysis, I'm just going to talk you through why I played the moves I did and what's going on. So here we go. Classic line. We all know as soon as knight 3, c3 comes out, we've got classic main line. Queen d6. Obviously you could play queen a5 or queen d8. I prefer queen d6. I just feel it's more in keeping with a modern Scando. d8's safer in terms of the fact the queen's out of the way, but the queen's quite useful there on d6 actually. We'll come into that later. So obviously it goes with d4 and I go c6, which is just a move which gives the queen a retreat square. Obviously stops the knight coming to b5 and d5 later, it kind of prepares that solid Caro-Kann type pawn structure. The pawn on obviously c6 and e6. Knight out, and then I just chuck my knight out. Nice and simple. Develops his bishop. And here it's okay, but a little bit limp. It's just okay. There's nothing terrible about it. It's not losing. Maybe a bit passive from white. Okay, I think normally here, white would play like bishop c4. Let's turn the engine analysis on. So you can see after knight f6, yeah, bishop e2 is okay. He wants to play bishop e2, but bishop e3 really is still okay. The engine still thinks it's a bit better, but I think that it's a bit passive. I think bishop c4 is a bit sharper. Anyway, so I continue at this point because he hasn't played bishop c4. I continue with bishop g4, just pinning his knight, clears my bishop. Now I'm ready to play e6 soon. He develops. Obviously, it's completely equal at the moment. Let's just turn the engine on, have a look again. White, fractionally better. It's nothing. And he's going to hit my bishop. We'll drop it back. I'm not going to exchange at this point. And he wants to go queenside, which is fair enough. And quite often you get this. The queen and the bishop, people like to line it up because they want to hit your queen. They want to play bishop f4 and attack your queen, and they think that's going to get them somewhere, but it's just a waste of time. It's not a waste of time, I shouldn't say that. He has got obviously the option to castle either way now, but in this position, I still wouldn't be that bothered about castling kingside, although he has got kind of an attack there. I haven't really got much going, so I probably want to avoid that for the moment. So I carry on developing, and he obviously lashes out. Once that's obviously clear now, I'm probably not going to be castling kingside. So just drop the bishop back, and he hits my bishop, fine. And I'm just carrying on developing, really. I'm not too worried about this. And now he's obviously got some tactics here. So let's see what the computer thinks about this. Still slightly better for white, or equal. This is equal, really. He's got a simple tactic here, threatening my queen. So I now play a move of mine, which is like, the computer doesn't love it that much, but I quite like it. It basically gets my queen out of the way, and it's a threat which is, it's not really a threat. I'm threatening the pawn on b2, but what I like about it is I can drop my queen back quite easily to a5 and then reroute it to d8, and with no issues at all. I want to keep my queen on this side because he's probably going to castle most likely on the queen side. I want it to be part of any attack. So he castles, and I chop the knight off, he chops it off, and in this position I just decide to castle. Obviously white still slightly better. You know, no horrific blunders on either side. It's a game of chess. We're just playing chess, yeah. You could argue either both of us could have or could not have played more efficient moves, but the bottom line is, it's a game of chess. You know, in this position now is probably exactly what I'd expect. White to be fractionally better. Black's okay. I've got no serious structural weaknesses. I've got my rooks on a half open file. My pieces are developed. What would you say? I mean, my queen, you could say it's possibly slightly misplaced there, or you could say it's slightly antagonistic, and it's going to create, it's going to provoke him to do things later on, and we'll see. And lo and behold, it does. It provokes moves like a3, which probably you don't need to do. So now I've got to be slightly careful because he's obviously threatening b4, and then my queen is a little bit getting a little bit tricky for places for it to go. I think the only place it can go then is b6. We can't play it straight away. He can't play b4 straight away and hit my queen because I'll just take this pawn here. Okay, so he decides not to move the king and just wants to exchange queens, and I'm quite happy with that, really, because in this position, my calculation was that after queen takes queen and then knight, we chop a few pieces off, that I thought that we're completely equal here, that I would be able to launch an attack here on these pawns with moves like h5 and double up and create some pressure. So we exchange, and then obviously I want to protect this pawn. The computer thought I should have just gone with my plan straight, this sort of move straight away. I didn't like, in the computer assesses this as completely equal still. I just didn't like the fact that I couldn't move my knight with this pawn hanging behind it. So I just wanted to sort that out, and it's completely fine. It's completely equal. Computer's got no problem with that. He chops off the knight and then gives me the bishop pair, which I don't really know why do that. I'm not 100% sure why he would do that. And in this position, he plays the logical c3, protecting this pawn, because obviously I'm threatening to take it. And I think this move for me, I was quite chuffed with this move. This is the move which, to me, I felt like his bishop is kind of hanging a bit on that square. This pawn is slightly backward in terms of the fact that it's a bit loose. It's got to play a tempo. It's got to do something with it. And obviously I've got the bishop pair, and this knight is, sorry about that, his knight is going to be pinned for moves like bishop here. And if we can chop off the pawns in the middle, I calculate I can create some pressure on this knight. A simple tactic, just playing obviously bishop g5 and doubling the rooks up. It really wasn't anything more than that. I thought this is the moment. If there ever was a critical moment in this game, it's this one move here. I have to play e5 to get equality. I think if I fanny around, I don't know, let's say I did something like that, it just gives it back to white slightly better. This move here, I could have done something, I don't know. I thought about just moving the bishop straight away, actually, here. but that doesn't work, because although he can just hit it and then I move my bishop again and it's not in the right place. So here comes the move, e5. It's amazing. It's only fractionally better for me. You know, half a pawn, 0.6 minus 0.6. And then I've got this obvious tactic. He obviously just wants to blast his rook down, blast his pawn down to my bishop, which is kind of understandable, but I really just feel like, yeah, I don't know, I just felt like, to me, so let's just go back here. So I took, he plays rook f1, and so I've lost the thread here. He plays the rook across, and then I played bishop f4 straight away, pinning the knight. And you can see, as soon as he plays this move here, his only move is to what I'm trying to point out as important part of this game is that that's the threat there. So I have to play, you know, maybe a human being. You know, I think a human being will probably play something like that, and then he plays that, and then I drop the bishop back, and it's like I'm slightly better because I've got the bishop pair, you know, and that's understandable. But what he wants, what he does after I play, after bishop takes pawn, so c3, e5, d takes e5, bishop takes pawn, he goes from just being slightly worse to practically losing with one move, and yet we're materially equal in this position. We're materially equal. We've both got symmetrical pawn structures. It's just this position. It's positionally a terrible move, because it obviously then allows me to do that, and then he decides to play obviously h6 plan, and I play end up dropping the bishop back. Obviously I play h5 and h7, and he's still got this problem now. He's got a problem because this bishop is immense on this diagonal. It's stopping his king from getting into the game. So although he's forced it back a few moves, it's still an absolute beast, and he can't do anything about it. It's all nothing. Can't exchange it. He can't get any play at all. So he tries to sort his white square bishop out, which is completely fine, and I get that. And at the moment, this is minus 5.4. I mean, you know, maybe if you assess this game and you didn't see the, you couldn't see any of this analysis, you might be like, well, yeah, black's better, but really, when you look harder, you see that white is lost. White is in big trouble here. And so he plays this move here to try and threaten this pawn, and I basically just calculated, you know, rook e8, takes pawn, rook e8, and then I'm on this piece twice if he allows rook e2. I thought, there's no way a 2150 plus player is going to allow that, so I just play it anyway. And he moves the pawn down. I didn't really know what that is, so I don't really get that move, what I was doing. So I hit his bishop thinking, well, he's got big problems there, because he can't move it here, he can't move it back here, he either has to take the pawn or drop it back. So he's probably thought to himself, well, I'll drop it back, and then that just allows that, and the piece is lost. It's not a single thing. Let's have a look at this analysis now. Yeah, I mean, nearly minus 8. I mean, completely lost. Completely lost, although still materially equal on the board. It's minus 8 nearly, and we haven't actually done anything, any exchanges or anything. It's like he hasn't lost the piece yet, but of course, obviously, he takes that, and then I think I take with the right way around. He wants me to take with the other rook, but I'm not clever enough to work that out. So I go the other rook, now threatening the most horrific discovery ever. And obviously just a spike check there on a dark square. And yeah, I think I made a little bit of a klutz of this. It was mate in 2. And I was trying to mate him the other way, but and now I just did this move here, which wins the rook, obviously. But he should have just resigned at this point. He was going for like a stalemate, you know, just give all your pieces away, hope that I'm thick enough to stalemate him. And I still have 2.5 minutes on the clock, and you know, really probably should have resigned, but actually I can't say that because I've not resigned in positions like this, and just carried on, you know. So it was just you know, fair enough, he was just trying to get a stalemate, I get that, and that's the end of that. So my point being is, with this game, like the Scandinavians are very, I think it's quite a positional opening actually, and you're not going to get tremendous tactics in it. And all I did in this game really is that he kind of played, you know, he tried to play quite aggressively by coming down this early onslaught on my king side, but, and you know, and he's dumping his knight into e5 and all the rest of it. But really, I mean, okay, let's say I don't do that queen move. I could have just chopped that there, and then he takes there, and I just put the queen back. That's another line that I play, and it's pretty much equal. You've got a nice game here. You're kind of getting, you know, the benefits of the Caro-Kann pawn structure without having to know the Caro-Kann theory. I don't know what the computer suggests from here on in. So you're saying castle, and the computer wants me to castle. Wow, wants me to castle this way, because I don't think it really sees this as much of a threat. Because yeah, I mean, this is unbelievable. You'd have to have some balls to play this as a human. Check, takes, and then you get it in here, and you get this bishop. Oh yeah, you get the monster bishop. So, you know, this wants to move the rook there. Yeah, then you just start kicking his pieces. Interesting. You know, it's like a kind of I know this looks better for black, but white, but you know, I'd happily play this as black. White in these sort of positions, you know, I think that white is only literally one move away from being worse, you know, really in a really bad shape. You take that. Can you trap that in there? What's he going to do? I don't know why he's allowed that. Anyway, I'm going to go too deeply into that analysis. Save it for another time. So keep on playing the Scandinavian. I've not heard of this variation before, the Schiller-Pytel variation. I've heard of the Pytel Wild variation, but not the Schiller-Pytel, so I'm going to look that up later and see what old Schiller is about. Because I like playing Scandinavian like this. I think it's how it should be played. It's a positional opening where you just have to soak up the blows, and then you counter attack, or wait for your opponent to blunder and lash out. They've won countless over the ball games through people doing that. That's brilliant, because you don't really have to know any theory. You've got to fanny around learning all your Rai Lopez to move 16, you know. What's the point? You know, unless you're a 2650 junior that's 15 years old and like needs to know everything under the sun. If you're just an average club player, you know, just make your life easy. That's what I think. Why would you want to stress out learning all that theory? You know, I will say you do tend to get, you know, you're gonna get the same sort of positions over and over, which you might find annoying, and you can still get crushed in the Scandinavian by the right, if you're not careful. So it's not like the Holy Grail opening. It's not going to save you. A better player will beat you. It doesn't matter what you do in the end, generally. But we're just trying to get, you know, maybe you want to add this to your repertoire, and you know, let me know how you get on. Anyway, Any comments or questions, leave them on YouTube, and happy chessing.